Well, good morning. Hello again. YouTube, it's Petey Two Finger. Today we're going to be talking about Dave Gilmour. He's dropping a solo album on September 6th. That's Roger Waters' birthday. How do you like that? So I'm sure Roger doesn't like it. So the elephant in the room whenever we talk about David Gilmour is the other guy. Do you get it? It's Roger Waters. It's Pink Floyd. That's the elephant in the room. And I think it's painfully obvious when we see Polly Sampson firing off shots in social media against Roger Waters' character, and then Dave Gilmour joining in to back her up, that it is a really significant thing that exists from the top down, and that's the problem. If these two, meaning Dave and Polly, because Waters has reached out the olive branch and Dave won't have it. So let's be real clear about why we are denied our Pink Floyd reunion. It's not Roger. And when you learn the betrayal that happened when they were making The Wall, how Roger was virtually forced out of his own band, meaning Pink Floyd, it kind of becomes a bit of a no-brainer why I side with Roger over this issue that exists. So we're going to be talking about all that stuff. I'm going to try to summarize how I feel about the single. The album isn't out yet. Obviously, I brought that up. And I've been a David Gilmour solo and Pink Floyd fan for as long as I can remember, since I was a little kid. I think it's something, however you look at him, he's an incredible artist. That he has his strengths and his weaknesses, and that's one of the things where he's conflicted, where he gives in and his work becomes watered down. I think Dave Gilmour would make a better instrumental album than an album with lyrics. He sure can sing, though, and he's got some pipes even in his old age. He's starting to look really old. He looks like he reminded me of Frampton a little bit when I saw him. Now he did have a bit of a run-in with the Bolivian marching powder. He lost his, he had kids, divorce. Then he met this really strong woman who's very definitive looking, and that became the second half of his life. He formed a really strong bond with this woman who's a really strong, outspoken woman. She's an author, and she's been writing the lyrics for Dave. They have a family. They have a beautiful family. They have one of the daughters is singing. She's on the album, sings like an angel. But that's not Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd is a broken-hearted man who's lost everything. That's Pink Floyd. So it's a bit of a touchy situation, especially when Polly Sampson's lyrics they leave a lot to be desired. I'll just put it that way. So, first solo album comes out. He sketches out Comfortably Numb for that album and leaves it off the album. It ends up going on The Wall. That was his solo contribution to the Wall album. And again, around Y2K, I started noticing this thing. It was like a fad for young people to say they like Pink Floyd except The Wall, which is like saying I like Judy Garland, but I hate Wizard of Oz. It's just ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. Take another listen to Happiest Days of Our Lives and Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. This is a piece of music that's been overplayed, but if you sit down with it with a pair of headphones or some good monitor speakers, you get in the sweet spot. It's going to absolutely blow you away. The perfection in that recording, especially the Happiest Days of Our Lives section. The way that they match the students of Islington Green School singing in this chapel, the reverb tail on that, the way that they've gated it and squeezed it in to fit in the recording is absolutely genius. That final solo by David Gilmour, is that Pink Floyd's finest? Is that David Gilmour's finest solo? People say it's comfortably done, but boy, I think that Another Brick solo, I really like it. I really do. It's different. And you'll find that type of thing on the Dave Gilmour solo albums. The problem is where these albums soar is when he's doing his best to emote his work with Roger Waters. That's the problem. That's the elephant in the room, and that's the issue with Dave Gilmour. And all of the Gilmour fans, well, not all of them, but there's a good percentage of them that will pop over on Roger Waters content and do their best to shit on Roger Waters, but you don't see the Roger Waters fans going over to Dave Gilmour's content and making us think about it. And that's where it begins to become painfully clear what's been going on here. Yeah, Waters was a megalomaniac and he was hard to work with, but you know what? Those guys should have been doing backflips when they got home, that they had the opportunity to work with him, because Pink Floyd were, if you listen to their work in between The Wall and when Syd Barrett left them, the first album, really, when you listen to that stuff, it doesn't really hold a candle to the 4-album masterpiece. The great 4 greatest albums in a row ever by any band, being Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, Animals in the Wall. So that's the elephant in the room, and that's the problem with Dave Gilmour's solo albums. I never saw Dave. I wanted to go so bad. I had that About Face cassette in my little tape Walkman player with AA batteries that was my only friend. I had that as a beginning guitar player who's not born with a real lot of talent. Of course, I admire Dave Gilmour. Every guitar player that's not really naturally akin to shredding and playing quickly on the guitar will emote Dave Gilmour, because he knows how to squeeze emotion out of every little note. He's not known to be a quick or fast guitar player, but he will throw some 8th notes and 16th note runs here and there as a curveball every once in a while. And I wonder who really was doing that. Was it Snowy White? Was it Lee Ritenour or some of these other guys that's come out that they went into the studio and recorded guitar tracks on some of the greatest and most well-known Pink Floyd albums? I don't know. We'll never know. It's funny how we've been overexposed to certain Pink Floyd pieces. The other day I went in to use the restroom and I heard the helicopter come in, and I thought it was crossfading with another song, and I'm thinking, is this? And then I hear, right when the helicopter defines itself as a helicopter, there's this noise that you only hear from a helicopter rotor that kind of comes in, and right when it lays down at the bottom of it's made its appearance, Waters comes in with the megaphone, and you kind of don't know what he's saying, but you kind of get the gist of it, and that bass just punches you in the face. It walks down with this delay that's spiraling out, and then it hits you again, and the delay shut off. Every instrument, the cymbals and the drums that's recorded, they're right in your face. The recording is just impeccable. And then Waters comes in with this kind of reverse echo. It comes in, and then he starts speaking and telling you. And then it breaks, and he does this like madman thing. But in the town, it was well known when they went home at night, their fat and psychopathic wives would thrash them within inches of their lives. And it's like a cut where they cut the tape, and these trumpets, they're synthesized trumpet kind of sounds that unfurl themselves real slowly, and they're piercing your ears. It's beyond a trumpet, it's a synth, and it's different. I've never heard that sound. They have like half sped up rototoms harkening back to time, and that's the teacher getting his ass whipped by his wife. That's what you're hearing there. But that piece in there, it's so brilliant. And it cuts off. It's like 4 seconds, and then it cuts off, and then we hear David, and this perfect modulated guitar is like they're kind of fading it out and fading it in. A little bit of the tail is cut off of that guitar that's mimicking his voice, and that voice it's weird. There's something going on with his voice on there now. And they played with, like, if you listen to Dark Side of the Moon, they very speeded that. They sped up and slowed down. Some of it's slow, some of it's fast. It's really cool what they did. And all of that magic that's what's missing in the Dave Gilmour solo work. Plus, you have this lyrical thing, which I said before. When you're a kid, your mind doesn't fully develop until you're like 21, and most people experience Pink Floyd when they're 12. So it seems like it's really complicated and layered and got all these different meanings. It's not. Pink Floyd is really some pretty basic stuff. He just had a lot of balls to say what he said in his lyrics. And they're flawless. Roger Waters can write. David Gilmour does not have the ability to write. And I'm sorry, nor does his wife. She's been humored about her writing skills because her femininity. Because she's slender. Maybe some people might find her attractive, so she's kind of had this red carpet rolled out for her, where I don't think she deserves to be writing lyrics for Looney Tunes or Sesame Street songs. I'm sorry. And especially not Pink Floyd caliber lyrics. That's the problem with Dave Gilmour's solo work. Now, we have his first album where it's good, but it's not great. It lacks focus, and where it shines is when it's emoting his work with Roger. His second album, he brought in all kinds of different writers and took a lot of brave steps. Did a disco song on it. There's some really amazing guitar work on it. There's an instrumental orchestral piece called Let's Get Metaphysical. The title is a jab at this little blonde roller derby girl who did a hit called Let's Get Physical, so Gilmour did Let's Get Metaphysical. It's an unbelievable guitar instrumental, maybe one of the best. And I would love to get that track and strip the guitar out of it and cover it. That's been one of my life goals. I'm going to do that at some point in my life. So you can look for that. The hack version of Let's Get Metaphysical by a two-fingered guitar player. It's a very good album. And it's his strongest album lyrically, because he's got an anti-nuke song on there that's really strong. There's actually two. There's The Cruise and Out of the Blue. There's two anti-nuke songs. On the cover, he's hitchhiking, and Waters' album comes out right after it, and it's called The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. So it's like he cannot wash the stink of Roger Waters off of him if he tried. This new album is called Luck and Strange. He's dropping it on Roger Waters' birthday, September 6th. So it's like, will you ever let go of this, Dave? You're supposedly happy with this wife of yours now. Can you get over the fact that you work with this guy? You know, you're never going to redefine yourself. There's people out there that claim that you were the genius behind Pink Floyd. And those people, they, like I said, they come on Waters' stuff on the internet. Waters will have something, a video or whatever, social media post. And these David Gilmour acolytes come on there and they go, Dave's voice is better than Roger's. They say this stuff, and it's like, you never see the Roger Waters fans doing this. Okay, so it's an unfortunate reality for Dave Gilmour, and that's one of the elements that becomes problematic in his music. Can you get over it? Can you stop thumbing your, I got to do a hitchhiking joke, a jab at Roger? He called the album About Face, like, I'm turning away from what I did, but there's material on there that sounds exactly like Pink Floyd, so it's conflicted, and it's not really, can't really stand on its 2 feet as being real, So let's take a look at the cover. The album's called Luck and Strange, and who do we see here? Blinding signs flap, flicker, 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 flap, pow. There he is. It's Sid. And this Luck and Strange, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm detecting a hand with some peach-colored nail polish on it. And the problem with that is the last album he did was called Girl with the Yellow Dress, and it was horrible. It was unlistenably bad. The lyrics, it's this wife of his. It's Polly. And like they did a video of it, and it was a black and white cartoon of a bird, a warbird flying around. Like, dude, you did that in the wall. We know who you are. You don't have to redo that stuff. Define yourself like you did on the masterpiece you made, which is On an Island. Now, I believe that him and Polly took a vacation where they cemented their relationship. I don't know if they did psychedelics together there. I don't know if it was a romantic thing. Whatever it was, it made quite an impression on Dave. As he wrote this album, and to me, it represents his pinnacle. It's his best work he ever did. And I mean, I get that when you fall in love, when you have the love of your life, and you're a musician, you'll create some work that you won't ever be able to replicate it. So, dead men tell no tales, and old musicians write no good songs. This should be a saying. So, that being said, I'm going to hop over and I'm going to read you the lyrics to the first single. The single is called The Piper's Call. And if you don't know why I'm laughing, the Syd Barrett album was Piper at the Gates of Dawn. So it's like, anyway, I'm gonna read these lyrics. Take these binds everlasting. Can't undo the voodoo that you do. And the knots that we fasten will not work themselves loose. Whatever it takes, steer clear of the snakes. The road to hell is paved with gold. They'll tell you all the things that you don't need, they'll sell you. Your conscience uncontrolled and beauty to behold, the promise of eternal youth, the spoils of fame, a carpe diem attitude. Now, like, okay, this is garbage. Take these binds everlasting. What? Because you were in Pink Floyd and you can't escape Roger Waters' shadow? Can't undo the voodoo that you do. This is horrible. All the knots that we fasten will not work themselves loose. Whatever it takes to steer clear of the snakes, this is all garbage. The road to hell is paved with gold, they'll tell you. All the things you don't need, they'll sell you. That's not bad. Your conscience uncontrolled and beauty to behold. That's maybe not bad. Promise of eternal youth, no. The spoils of fame, a carpe diem attitude. Oh my God. These are just bad lyrics. The flames are high, the pipers call, contagious. A fixer who will numb your pain and strangeness. The wheels are hot, the hangover outrageous. What is this, Wonka? Some kind of a freak out? The stealer, he will trade your soul for favors. But you'll reap what you sow, as I found long ago, the promise of eternal youth, the spoils of fame, a carpe diem attitude. So, I gotta tell you, it says here the majority of the lyrics have been written by Polly Sampson, David Gilmour's collaborator for the past 30 years. It's written from the point of view of being older. Morality is the constant. Well, that's certainly a... I can't shake a finger at that, but the lyrics are embarrassing. They were bad on that. I got that album, Girl with the Yellow Dress, and I listened to it, and I could not believe how pee-whipped David Gilmour has become in letting this Polly just shit all over his legacy. The last good thing David Gilmour did was On an Island. And as far as I know, Gilmour's just given up. The lyrics were principally written by Gilmour's wife. So there you go. For some reason, none of the lyrics on this album ever really bothered me. So she needs to find whatever. If they're gonna appease me, Roger Waters, Pink Floyd fan, who admires David Gilmour for the genius that he is, she needs to go back to that island. Because and mind you, all this being said, I would love to see David Gilmour perform live. I've seen every videotape performance he's ever done. I've seen it multiple times, and they've moved me to tears. He's incredible. He's an incredible musician, and his voice. But you know where Pink Floyd really shined to me was all three of their voices. When Dave sounded best was when Rick was backing him up, and when Dave sounded best was when he was counterpointed by Roger. Dave would sing part of the verse, and then Roger would come in with the negative part of it, the nasty part Waters would sing. And it was magical. It was absolute magic. So, as every one of the true Pink Floyd fans will agree with me, it's really a shame that things are the way they have been since the Wall. And if you look at what has transpired, you will understand you can't blame Roger for that. Because it's Dave Gilmour that's denied the olive branch that Roger has extended. Roger tried to get them to get back together and mend fences, and David Gilmour is the one that's denied your Pink Floyd reunion. So if you want to hate on anybody, hate on the guy that's saying no. And I find it a bit unusual that he goes on Christie's, sells all of his gear, and then puts a solo album out. But whatever. What did he say? The central point is morality. There's a cute dog. He's got a black, it looks like it's young, black dog named Wesley. But the first track on the album is called Black Cat, and I cannot wait. Pink Floyd did a song called Lucifer Sam, the Siam cat, padding around on the ground, he'll be found. That cat's something I can't explain. Be a hip cat, be a ship cat, go to sea. I can't wait, because we have a, he's right here. Do you see that void over there? Oh. That's his ear. There he is. Hi, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Keita. You go back to sleep. Daddy loves you. I love you, Keita. I'm sorry. Let's see, how does this thing go here? Anyway, you guys, take care of yourself. Hug your pets. And peace.